Hello and welcome to another edition of the Lions Den here from Randall Ford today on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Joined by both coaches today at the same time, men's basketball coach Zane Gibson, women's basketball coach Ryan McAdams. Coaches, how are we doing? Are we staying warm?
Good morning, barely.
I don't think we're staying warm.
Yeah, I think that's kind of impossible right now.
Well, if you're from the north, it's not too bad.
Yeah. You Northerners are a little bit more used to this than we are. That's for sure.
For sure, I've definitely experienced worse.
Yes, I can imagine.
Well, first off, last week you guys were at Northeastern State last Thursday. Coach, we'll start with you. Anna Trusty, career high, 27 points in a comeback win.
Yeah, we won the game in the last 3 minutes of the third quarter. Identified by the kids after the game in the post-game locker room. Down 9 with 3 minutes to go in the third, and went on a run to tie it going into the fourth, and then just continued from there. Really proud of the kids for not wilting and sticking with what we were trying to accomplish. Anna made some shots early. She made 2 of the shots in that run. She's continuing to come along and find her spots a little bit more within the system than she was finding them earlier in the year, pressing a little bit earlier in the year. But as she continues to let the offense come to her, she's having more success. So really happy with how the game turned out.
I say you talk a little bit about that. At the end of the third quarter, we were down 9, came back, tied the game, and then in the fourth quarter, I think it was 63-62, and we went on like a 13-2 run over 5 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of that was sparked defensively. I thought that we did a really good job of just keeping intensity and guarding our the players on the other team as we asked them to in the scout. Sinitra Jones came alive in a little bit of that stretch and scored the ball for us. But again, just defensively, I thought we took Courtney Lee away well. She had 23 on us here in the first game. We didn't really take Alex Hill away. She had, we gave up another 20-plus performance of our own. But, we did a good job on what I felt was the one that made their offense go, and Courtney Lee, and held her to, limited numbers. And so, that helped our runs in the second half as well.
And last one for you from this game, you had 4 in double figures and three with 4 or more assists. So the ball was really good.
Yeah, I think Mo had 7 assists. And I'll tell you, I think the more we can have a balanced attack, the more difficult it is for our opponents to scout us. And so we're trying to share the ball, and, whoever's hands the ball lands in when the shot is ready to be taken, the shot that the team has provided them, we want them to step up and shoot it. And so, our goal is to stay as balanced as possible. Yes, Anna had 27, but believe it or not, we didn't draw up anything specifically for her. The ball ended up in her hands when she was open for most of her buckets. And so that's when you're clicking and sharing the ball. Talisha Brown, Zanaya Thomas, just natural point guards who know how to facilitate and score. But then, when you have Mo with 7 and you have people making shots, your assists are going to come.
All right, Coach. Unfortunately, we weren't as lucky in your game. We talked about it a little bit in the preview. They're one of the better offensive teams in the league. Northeastern State shot the ball 40% from 3. Unable to slow them down in the second half. They shot 58.6% in the second half. First half was a pretty close game. Let's talk about it a little bit.
In the first half, I thought we guarded. In the second half, I didn't. I think that's all the game came down to. We held them to 37 in the first half, and they're averaging 82. So if we'd have just repeated it, it'd have been 74. And if you can hold a team about 10 below their average in a game, you feel like you've done a good job. And they are leading the league or second in the league in scoring. But just we lost a little bit of our discipline in the second half. I thought we lost a little bit of our edge in the second half. And when we did that, they're explosive. We didn't get some 50-50 balls. Some balls got deflected. They scooped them and kicked them out and hit some threes in the second half. And, sometimes that can be the difference in the game. Just got to figure out a way to play all 40 minutes and not have those lulls where we let teams kind of explode on us later in the first half and early in the second half.
And, again, we talked about this too. 5 players scored in double figures last week. Just a balanced attack.
Yeah, kind of exactly what Coach McAdams said. We don't necessarily just go to one person all the time because I think that can make you easier to scout. Not that we don't have things that go to certain people at certain times, but offense wasn't the issue, but it was the issue. Our some of our quick shots that weren't necessarily turnovers turned into, basically live ball turnovers with them coming back at us. And I didn't think our shot selection was great. We did have 5 guys in double figures, but I don't think we shot it at a very high percentage clip. And efficiency is just as important as anything else on the offensive end. And sometimes, again, when you're not guarding as well as you need to on the defensive side, protecting yourself offensively is key, and we need to start figuring that out a little bit better.
I say I was at the game, taking pictures under the basket. I thought there was a lot of missed opportunities in the paint.
Yeah, we missed some point-blank layups. I mean, give them credit. They made 2 blocks. Their guards came and made 2 blocks. We had an inline out-of-bounds play where we got a kid wide open for a layup. The kid recovers and blocks it, and then we get our big kid wide open on kind of a wraparound pass, and their backside guard comes down and blocks it. And those are point-blank layups. You assume you would score those if they don't get deflected. And not only do they take 2 points off the board each time, but they're momentum swingers for their team as well.
And another thing that's kind of affected us this year, we're banged up. Just looking over at the bench the other night is like we got almost as many guys sitting in sweats as we're on the court. Just how is the kind of the lack of depth just kind of hindering you just a little bit with what you want to do?
Well, we don't ever want to make injuries as part of the narrative. They happen. Everybody's going through them. Yes, it cuts down on our rotation. It makes guys play maybe longer than they should play. I'm not going to say capable, but should play. There's a point, I believe, with every individual on the court, and some guys and girls can go longer, some guys and girls can't go very long at all, or they reach their point where they're just fatigued, and when they're fatigued, they make mental mistakes offensively, and they probably make physical mistakes defensively. And we're probably reaching that threshold quicker because of our lack of depth. But everybody that played on Thursday played in the second half and won that game versus UCO the week before. So we can't ignore it the week before when we had success and then point it out when we have failure. We have what we have, and we got to go get it done with who's in the uniform.
All right, back to you, Coach. We had an accomplishment, a milestone last week. Hannah Boyette became the first line in the D2 era to reach 1,000 career points.
Yeah, that's just a sign of longevity and ability and resilience. Hannah's been through quite a bit of different things throughout her career. She should be tremendously proud, as should her family, of her accomplishment. I'm so happy that she was able to do it within range of our arena. I kind of fumbled the bag a little bit with her trying to get it done the week before at UCO in a home game, but just got it done the next game and happy about that. I think for Hannah, it wasn't a gift to put her back in the game to get that point. We needed a free throw shooter, another free throw shooter in that game. It was a functional substitution. Happy that her family got to be there to enjoy it and appreciate it in the moment. But again, just, a little bit of reflection on her career. You're talking about 2 head coaches, more than a handful of assistant coaches, plenty of different health issues and physical ailments through her career. She's stayed with it. She's stuck with it. She's a local kid from Muldrow who really has committed the last 5-6 years of her life to our institution. And so it's great to see her get rewarded by that, by a 1,000th point milestone. And, just really happy for her.
I'd say, obviously being there, her family was there. They had 1,000-point signs.
Yeah.
I think it was a relief for her to finally get there. Obviously, like you said, she would have liked to get it at home. But just on social media, there's been a ton of love and support for her for reaching that milestone.
Yeah, I think people around here get it. I think people understand how hard it's been for her. I think they've watched her career from start to finish, and hopefully we have quite a few more games for her to compete in. And shout out to Carol Ann Sturgis for the graphics on those signs and those placards and things. She does a tremendous job with our graphics there and really hooked Hannah and her family up with those. But yeah, I think people around here get it. I think they're excited for Hannah works coaches camps in the summer. She's very involved in the community. She's been a liaison for us with the Muldrow community and some of the community service things we've done there. She's got quite a bit of connectivity here in our community. And so anytime one of our own, like I say, has success like that and reaches a milestone, it's exciting for people around here, and they do want to celebrate her and her efforts, and I'm proud of her for that.
All right, so moving off of last week, this upcoming week will be at Newman on Thursday, 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men. If you're unable to make the trip, we'll be on the MIAA network. Coach, starting with you, beat them in the first game, low-scoring game, 61-54. Hit 38 of your 61 points in the paint. What's it going to take to go up there and beat them?
Yeah, they're scary. Fortunately, we've played 2 games in that facility already this year. That's where our conference challenge was, beginning of November. There were 2 neutral court games against Southern Arkansas and Monticello in their facility. So we're familiar with the locker room, the facility, the city of Wichita, and I think we're actually going to stay at the hotel, same hotel we did then. Newman's scary. You know, they have one conference winner, and it's against Missouri Southern, who beat us by 11 on their home floor. They have a post player who has one of the best motors I've seen in a long time. She's just a relentless effort kid who, oh yeah, by the way, she's 6'2" and physical. They've got some kids who can get going shooting wise. They put together the third quarter against Missouri Southern where they outscored them, 26-5 or something like that. And, so when they get hot like anybody, but they're going to be in their own gym. It was a single digit game. It was kind of in the balance into the fourth quarter. We were able to pull away here. We got to guard their Princeton action. They run some traditional Princeton looks where they split action away with different guards and they try to put people in position to make shots. And then, we're going to try to, the secret's out. We like to put the ball in our post players' hands, and we trust Sinitra Jones and Lane Kirkendall to make the right decisions, that if they have an angle to the rim, they need to score it for us. If they don't, they'll skip it out to shooters or continue our offensive set. So I think we need to show up. I think last week's road win is one that we really want to build on this week. We're now currently 2-4 on the road, which is still not a very good record at all. If we take care of business Thursday, that's almost a 500 record on the road, and that's our goal, is to just chip away one game at a time and to develop more of an identity on the road and not just at home. And so we need kids to play well, we need kids to make shots, but we need to get stops. We need to guard their stuff and get stops.
All right, now over to Coach Gibson. Newman won the first meeting at the Silverfield Center, 70-67. Newman leads the MIAA in rebounding. So another tough one on the road. Obviously they can't beat us here. How do you return the favor at their place?
By boxing them out. They got 16 offensive rebounds on us here. It's huge. I mean, I think we held them like 39% from the floor and 27% from the three, which you would think you're going to win those games when you do that. But when they go and get extra possessions off the glass, and they made a couple really great winning plays here. They had a chase down block when we got into transition again, taking 2 points off from us, giving them a momentum turn. It was late, underneath 4 minutes to go in the second half when the game was tied. And, we have to box them out first and foremost. We got to understand that it's hard to win on the road. Teams play better at home. They have more energy. The ball goes in the net a few more times than maybe it would on the road. And so we have to be better than we were here, obviously. But it starts with boxing out, taking care of the ball, and just, having more energy than they have, even though they're going to get some off of their home crowd, I think are the biggest things.
And now this one's kind of for both of you. So, usually we play Thursday, Saturday. This week, they had a scheduling conflict.
Well, you're getting on a sensitive subject here, Josh. I was going to tell you.
They're playing on Sunday. How do you deal with that extra day on the road? Who wants to go first?
Well, we just deal with it. We're going to do a team movie on Friday night. I mean, we're going to eat some time along the way. I'll tell you, it's just a longer road trip. In fact, I was just texting with David Flannery with Chartwell's here on campus, who provides us some snacks and things for the road. And he asked, confirmed a 4-day trip. I said, no, it's a 5-day trip. It reminds us of Lone Star days of old, right? Of the long trips.
I remember one week where you went, played a road game, and stayed on the road for.
Yeah, it felt like a year. Yeah. But, I don't know. If I'm a college kid and I get to stay another night in a hotel and be on the road with my basketball team and compete, these are the opportunities that our teams have to continue to build on our chemistry. When we are away from campus and we are together, whether by choice or not, we have the opportunity to continue to make stronger bonds and play better together on the floor because of the time we spend off it. selfishly as a coach, we know, when their, curfews are, and when they're, when we're getting them up to eat breakfast, and we're eating team meals together, and it's not the independence and the autonomy that they have at home, that, you just don't know how well they're fueling, how well they're sleeping, those sorts of things. So as a coach, I really don't mind it, other than, the extra day is going to be an extra day. But yeah, I mean, I think it's extra motivation for the Emporia game on Sunday. And like I say, it's just another opportunity for our team to continue to grow closer together.
Coach Gibson?
Oh, I think Coach McAdams just teeter-tottering around it. I don't think we should be playing on a Sunday. I'll say it. It's a league game, and so that should take precedent over any conflicts that might occur on another home team's court. But it's not so the Sunday part, it's for the next week. It's right. The wraparound the following week, which now creates a disadvantage for us. But, similar to what Coach McAdams says, it's a chance for us to kind of take a retreat as a team and, spend some time with each other, because we're going to have downtime on that Friday. Normally if you play Thursday, that Friday is pretty action-packed, and also trying to balance the fact that, you got to get them recovered for Saturday. It's a very fine line. But now having the whole extra day, we were trying to think of things similar. I hadn't, Coach McAdams always beat me to the movie punch. But we were trying to think of some things that we can do, because they do just get bored sitting in the hotel room. But at the same time, we can't just sit there and watch film over and over and over again, or practice for too long and things like that. We need to generate some entertainment / fun / connectivity opportunities, and so we'll take advantage of that, and hopefully we're ready to go on Sunday as well as Thursday evening.
Coach, the minor league hockey team's out of town. It's in Salt Lake this weekend. I already looked. I thought that would actually be a great little
pretty cool
thing, completely off the grid for our kids to go see, because live hockey is amazingly exciting.
Yes.
And I'm kind of a throwback. I'm not a huge fan of going and letting them walk around a mall for 2.5 hours, even though that's just slow walking, standing. I like them off their feet, even on the extra day off. And so my kids would hate that if they watch this right now, thinking they're getting ready to, I'd rather go sit in a movie theater, make sure, again, I know where they're at. I know they're resting. We might sneak in a little mall time, because like he says, it's a full day. But yeah, just to the competitive part of it, and not to make complete light of it, we have Missouri Southern coming to our gym the following Thursday, and they handed us a loss at their place a couple weeks ago, and we owe them one, and we need to prepare for them. And, to not have, the other thing for the kids is, a day off needs to be a day off. That's what Sundays are usually used for. Now you play on a Sunday, your day off is a Monday, where they're up and at 'em, going to class and doing different things. And so it's not a full day off. And even you might be off the floor, you might not be in the weight room, but you're on your feet, you're going through a normal day of class. And so that does kind of just change things. That kind of nudges things off kilter a little bit. And, this will be the second Sunday game in a matter of 3 weeks due to an ice storm or a snowstorm that we had a few weeks ago. So, the kids, we're creatures of habit, right? We're people who like to control the controllables, and being in athletics and being coaches, we're creatures of habit. We like routine. When we're off routine, we're a little I'm speak for myself. I'm a little unsettled, and so I look forward to, getting through this week, getting through the next week, and then getting back to our normal Sunday off, Monday starting the week routine.
Agreed.
All right, so let's get into that game on Sunday a little bit. At Emporia Sunday, 1:30, 3:30 again. Can't make it up there. MIAA Network. Coach McAdams, they have one of the top 5 scorers in the league, Katie Farina. How do you slow her down?
Well, we're one game at a time right now, Jocelyn, so I'll be very honest with you. I haven't looked a ton at Emporia State yet this week. In fact, Newman is my specific scout, so I've been really pouring into them. But I know that we have some very good individual on-ball defenders. If she's a guard, which I think she is, there's a good chance that it's going to be Morgan Browning, who's one of our best on-ball defenders and just one of our toughest kids. But we, like I said earlier, we had a defensive strategy to combat Courtney Lee that involved double teaming, that involved getting the ball out of her hands at Northeastern, and our kids executed it very well. So they really kind of took another step into a different echelon of defensive strategy and doing things out of our normal. And so, anytime there's a kid like that, and I'm watching Washburn Newman film last night and the day before, and I mean, Washburn has a post player that is serious. So, Yeah, well, I believe that because her performance last week was pretty special. So, yeah, we're in the MIAA. There are players anywhere you look, and you're going to have to come up with ways to stop, individuals, teams as a whole, but individuals specifically. And so, we'll guard her, we'll shadow her, we'll load to her if she gets going. We'll probably double team her, try to take it out of her hands. But, we're really aiming to, start with Thursdays, but then building to Sundays. Yeah, Emporia is really good at home. They've got some really good wins in our league, especially at their home facility. And again, we're trying to chip away at our road identity, and so it'll be a great challenge for us.
Now, we kind of talked about the competitive aspect of playing Thursday to Sunday, having that whole extra day. But does it also help now that you have that extra day in between to kind of prepare more for Emporia, since most of your focus at the beginning of the week is on Newman?
100%. Yeah. I prefer 2 days of film and 2 days of scout before we play. Last year, if you go back to our games last year, we were much more successful on Thursdays than we were on Saturdays. And that's something that I actually decided I was going to really pay attention to this year, is maybe look at our second opponent of the week early in the week, then go to the first opponent, then go back to the second opponent, something to combat kind of that, lots of preparation for the first opponent and not as much for the second, and what the results showed out of that. If you got any ideas there, I'm open to them. But, this extra day between, the first and second games this week, yes, should help our legs with an extra day of rest and should help our minds with an extra day of preparation. That's the goal. That's how I feel it helped with the snowstorm with UCO. I thought that our game on that Sunday, we were just sharper. We were just more prepared for their stuff with the extra day of prep.
Same to you, Coach Gibson. How does that kind of affect you? Like I said, we talked about the competitive, but also the same in the prep.
Yeah, as similar to Coach McAdams, I'm kind of only focused on Newman right now. One of my assistants does the first scout of the week. One of my assistants does the second scout. So the scout's already done for them, but my attention is all on Newman currently because the most important game is just the next game.
Right.
But it does allow, again, on a Thursday for a Saturday game, Coach McAdams and I spend a lot of hours in the facility late at night because we're trying to get ourselves prepared to present to our teams on Friday. And now we can even take a night where you just go, okay, well, I'm just going to go to bed. I'll wake up in the morning and focus on it then. So it does allow us to have a little bit of a fresher look on that game Sunday. There are advantages for the gap. I just wish it was a Wednesday, Saturday gap so it protected the following week, not a Thursday, Sunday, because it doesn't protect necessarily the next week.
And this, I don't know if it's the first ever meeting on the women's side, but it's the first ever meeting with the Emporia men. Both teams are kind of searching for that success in the league. From what I saw in the stats, Emporia, they're down in the bottom 5 in the league in offensive scoring and allow the second highest opponent field goal percentage.
Don't jinx us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
that's exactly where my head went, Coach.
But don't jinx us. But again, that may be true. I'm just telling you, my total focus right now is on Newman, as I think it should be. But one of my staff members has already dove into Emporia, and once that game's over on Thursday, they know to bring me the scout, and then we'll start digesting it from there.
And two things on that. I also think that Emporia is, from what I remember, is in the top 4 or 5 attendance-wise. I think this is one of the best environments in our conference.
Yep.
And so I'm excited for our kids, again, to, unfortunately, our Pitt State game in that environment didn't go terribly well. We lost by 20. But this is another opportunity to play in a road game in the MIAA in a hostile environment. They do a great job. They've built this program, the women's program specifically, to a level where they draw. And they have a great home court advantage as far as attendance goes, and I love that challenge. I want that for my kids. I want those experiences for our athletes to play in environments like that. And then the other part about just the 1 day or 2 days, I'm a big digestion guy. I'm a big move on guy, but also like what can we do better? And so when you only have 1 day between a Thursday and a Saturday, you're trying to digest the Thursday game and share with your kids like, hey, these are things that we did well. These are things that we need to improve on just before we play Saturday. It's hard to do that plus introduce a whole new team all in 1 day. So, to Coach's point, Friday morning this week will probably be spent on, hey, let's look a little bit let's reflect a little bit more than we normally have the chance to on last night's game, win or lose, and then and then as the day goes, then we'll introduce the second opponent in Emporia, and we'll move from there. But Fridays are full because of just the amount of processing and digestion we're trying to do from the game the night before, just the corrections that we need to make in a matter of 24 hours if we want to win a basketball game, and just the things that we need to talk about. So, the extra day hopefully will help in those areas.
Any final thoughts from you, Coach Gibson?
No, I just hope we go out there and play some good basketball. That's about it.
All right, so that does it for another episode of the Lions Den from Randall Ford. Thursday, men's women's basketball, 5:30 at Newman. Men's basketball, 7:30 against the Jets. And then Sunday, 1:30, 3:30 at Emporia State. Tune in on the MIAA network if you can't make it. And we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be joined by Randall Ford sales manager Chris Davis. Good luck this week, coaches.
Thank you.
All right, and welcome back to the Lions Den. We are joined by Randall Ford sales manager Chris Davis.
How you doing?
Good. What do we got going on this month here at Randall Ford?
It's a big month. It's the first month of the year, so it's a new year. So at Randall Ford, we think you need a new truck. What we're doing is $15,000 off F-150s. We want to make sure you start the year off right.
I say, would have helped you get through the snow last week a little
Exactly, that is for sure.
Trying to think. I'm not Jimmy. I don't know how to
Sure.
work here. I don't know what
Jimmy's not here right now, so we're going to pick up the slack a little bit. Some of the other things we've got going. Of course, Randall Ford wants to thank UAFS for all the support you guys give us, and in turn that we give you guys. Some of the things we also have going, we've done it once already. It is cold outside, so what we started on the home games on the weekends, the first, I think it's 30 people that come through get a special gift from Randall Ford and UAFS. It's a commemorative Randall Ford mug with some hot chocolate in it to help keep you warm. We want to make sure everybody gets out early to those games and get started. We're also doing a ball throw out. We have the little commemorative Randall Ford UAFS Lions basketballs that the cheerleaders at halftime will be throwing out into the crowd. Now, on those balls, it's not just a little ball that you get. It's also, if you will bring that ball in to us here at Randall Ford, it's a $500 coupon, basically, off of a new or a used vehicle just for bringing that in.
That's a pretty easy way to get a discount.
Yeah, so it's $15,000, $15,500 if you bring in the ball. And then you can stay warm with the hot chocolate.
Yeah, there you are. Use the truck to cut some firewood.
Yeah, there you go. Stay warm. We've got some cold weather coming in. We had another round hit, and so there's more on the way. So
I say, and I know February has been when we've gotten a lot of the snow and ice since I've moved here. So,
yes.
So I guess the new truck, be prepared.
Yes. Make sure you do that. Come out here to Randall Ford and see us.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you for letting us know what's going on here at Randall Ford, and thanks all for tuning in to another episode of the Lions Den. We'll see you next week.